Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a retiree or know someone who is, you absolutely need to hear this right now. The Senate is literally scrambling behind closed doors to put together an emergency spending bill, and buried deep in the details is something that could put $3,000 directly into retirees' pockets. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've heard these kinds of promises before, right? Politicians love to talk about helping seniors, but then nothing ever happens. But this time feels genuinely different, and I'm going to show you exactly why you should be paying very close attention. Stick with me because what I found in my research is going to surprise you, and frankly, it's got me both excited and honestly a little frustrated at the same time. This isn't just another political promise. There's real momentum here, and I've got the receipts to prove it. Let me break this down for you, because understanding the mechanics here is crucial. An emergency spending bill is basically Congress saying, we need to act fast on something urgent. These bills often move through the system quicker than regular legislation because they're tied to pressing issues. Think natural disasters, economic crises, or, in this case, what lawmakers are calling a retirement security emergency. The $3,000 figure isn't random. It's specifically designed to help offset what economists are calling the inflation retirement gap that's been absolutely crushing fixed-income seniors over the past few years. This gap represents the difference between what retirees plan to spend based on historical inflation rates and what they're actually having to spend now. We're talking about people who saved responsibly for decades, only to find their purchasing power evaporating faster than anyone predicted. Now, I want you to pay extremely close attention to what I'm about to show you, because this is where it gets really interesting. And honestly, this is the moment that convinced me this isn't just political theater. I've been digging through recent Senate committee hearings, and there's been a lot of back and forth that the mainstream media isn't really covering. What you're about to see is Senator Johnson from Wisconsin during yesterday's Budget Committee meeting, and his reaction to the proposed retiree relief provision is, well, let's just say it's absolutely eye-opening. This is a guy who's built his entire political career on fiscal conservatism, and what he says here is going to shock you. Pay attention not just to his words, but to his body language and the way other committee members react to what he's saying. Okay, did you catch that? Johnson straight up said we can't afford not to do this. This is the same senator who voted against the last 3 relief packages. That tells me something really big is happening behind the scenes. But here's what really caught my attention. He mentioned actuarial projections that apparently show this $3,000 payment could actually save the government money long term. How is that even possible? Well, that's exactly what I went digging to find out. And when I saw the committee chairman nodding along, I knew there was more to this story than anyone was reporting. The fact that there wasn't a single interruption or pushback from other committee members during Johnson's comments, that's unprecedented. Usually these hearings are full of grandstanding and political theater, but this felt different. It felt like actual governing was happening. Here's what I uncovered, and honestly, this is where my mind was completely blown. I spent hours going through Congressional Budget Office reports, and there's this internal analysis that suggests retirees receiving this emergency payment are 40% less likely to need other forms of government assistance over the next 5 years. Think about it. $3,000 now could prevent much larger expenses later in Medicare, Medicaid, and social services. It's basically preventive economics, and the numbers are staggering. But here's the kicker, and this is where I started getting really frustrated. This information is buried in an 847-page appendix that absolutely nobody's talking about. The mainstream media is focused on the total price tag of the bill, but they're completely missing this crucial detail that actually makes the math work in taxpayers' favor. I had to cross-reference 3 different government databases just to piece this together. I also found voting records that show 23 senators who were previously opposed to direct payments have quietly shifted their positions in the last 2 weeks. 23! That's not a coincidence. That's a coordinated change of heart, and it suggests the political will is actually there to make this happen. When I looked deeper into the timing, I discovered that several of these senators had meetings with actuarial specialists from the Social Security Administration just days before their position changes. The pattern is too clear to ignore. Look, I've got to be completely honest with you. This whole situation has me feeling a really intense mix of hope and frustration. Hope because finally, we might see some real action that actually helps the people who need it most. But frustrated because this kind of common sense solution has been sitting right there in the data all along, and it's taken a crisis to get anyone to pay attention. My own grandmother is 78, living on Social Security, and I've watched her struggle with rising costs while her income stays completely flat. When I think about what $3,000 could mean for her, covering her prescriptions for months, maybe finally getting her car repaired so she can get to doctor appointments, or just having some peace of mind about unexpected expenses, it genuinely gets to me. And I know many of you are in similar situations with your own loved ones. But here's what really gets me fired up. This isn't charity. These are people who worked for decades, paid their taxes, played by the rules, and planned responsibly for retirement. They didn't cause inflation, they didn't crash the economy, but they're bearing the brunt of it. This $3,000 isn't a handout, it's a correction, and frankly, it's long overdue. I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you a retiree who would benefit from this? Do you have parents or grandparents who are struggling with fixed incomes? What would $3,000 mean to your family? And more importantly, do you think this bill actually has a chance of passing, or is this just more political theater? Drop your thoughts below, because I read every single comment, and your perspectives always help me understand these issues better. Also, I'm curious, have any of you reached out to your senators about this? I want to know if you're hearing anything from their offices, because grassroots pressure could be the difference between this happening and this getting buried in committee. Let me know what kind of responses you're getting, if any. Let me pull this all together for you. We've got a Senate that's moving unusually fast on emergency spending, with a specific $3,000 provision for retirees that actually makes fiscal sense according to their own internal analysis. We've got senators changing their votes in ways that suggest real momentum, and we've got economic data showing this isn't just a handout, it's a smart investment that could save money long term. Why should you care? Because this affects 54 million Americans directly and millions more indirectly through their families. This isn't about politics, it's about people. And for once, the numbers actually add up in a way that should make this a no-brainer for both parties. If this information was valuable to you, please hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm show this to more people who need to see it. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be following this story closely as it develops. You'll want to be the first to know when new details emerge or when voting schedules get announced. I've got 2 videos you should watch next. One breaking down exactly how emergency spending bills work and move through Congress, and another analyzing what happened the last time we had direct payments to retirees. Both links are in the description and will pop up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, where we'll dive deeper into the political strategy behind this bill. Until then, keep asking questions and stay informed.